let's talk about the day after, right? The day after. We're going to have lots of time to talk about the playoff games that we now see. But the day after, and it starts, as you know, as soon as a team is usually done. And it happened with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos gave the Chiefs all they could handle, the proverbial all they could handle on Saturday, but came up short. And Vic Fangio, after 3 years on the job, defensive coordinator, longtime defensive coordinator in this league, finally getting a shot at the HC. Very defensive-minded head coach. Just told it straight, pretty much, when he had his final press conference, and this is before he received what I think he knew was inevitable.
Well, I mean, those other three teams have top-shelf quarterbacks, which is obvious to everybody. We just need to get a little bit better. A lot of the games, we had a good game against the Chargers here in first time. Last week was the COVID game. We had a tough day, close game with the Raiders second time. Obviously, both games with the Chiefs, I think we're tight. We're not quite there yet, but we're close. And I think the foundation is there for this franchise to close the gap and become more of a factor in this division.
He also was pointing out that quarterbacks, as you see, the three other teams have quarterbacks. His quarterbacks in his 3 years that were the leading passers for the Denver Broncos, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, and Teddy Bridgewater. Not going to win Super Bowls with those three guys unless you're the Ravens back, of 2012, right?
Wow ago.
So, but of course, some of his problems were in his first year not really knowing when to challenge. He had problems about challenging all the time. And then, just sort of an old school mentality. And if Brandon Staley's the guy who goes for it on his own 18-yard line on a fourth down in a do-or-die game, Vic Fangio is the guy who, figuring it's his last contest, it's fourth and long in the red zone, down 7 to Patrick Mahomes. He kicked a field goal and put his defense back on the field. And we all know what happened after that. They lost. Mahomes didn't give him the ball back. As soon as that happened, I'm like, that is just, you go out with your guns blazing. Just like, I don't trust Drew Lock, but this is the guy who brought me here, and he's been lighting it up all day. Let's just go for it. And if not, then we'll play defense, and we'll have to score a touchdown. But going for 3 right there, but hey, he is now available. If anybody wants a defensive coordinator, he's one of the best, period. And that might be the choice of my college coach if he gets a shot, because don't forget who the DC in San Francisco was, and in Stanford before Jim got the job in San Francisco. That would be Vic Fangio. And maybe Chicago's a spot where Jim wants to go. Word is it's the Raiders. But from all I hear is that Harbaugh wants to bring his own personnel people if he does go. And Chicago just blew everybody out today. Bears fans have been wanting Matt Nagy gone, but they've wanted Ryan Pace to go, and they were so nervous that the McCaskey family would only do half the job. And I know a lot of other Bears fans want them to go further up the flow chart. I think Big Cat is going crazy on Twitter. He wants Ted Phillips gone, too. He wants them all out, as do a lot of Bears fans. But they got both today, the general manager, Ryan Pace, and Matt Nagy. And, the story we all know about that scenario is Ryan Pace had the rare opportunity of drafting a quarterback that did not have a higher pedigree than other quarterbacks left on the draft board, and he went and traded up to get Trubisky with Deshaun Watson sitting on the draft board. And this is before Mahomes became Mahomes. The problem is Mahomes then did become Mahomes. And with all of that, and Trubisky clearly not as good as those quarterbacks, he got an opportunity to hire a coach and draft another quarterback. That doesn't usually happen for general managers. That's why they were all supposed to need to be all in this year on Justin Fields. And they went and got Dalton, even though they already had Foles. spent $10 million on Dalton. They had Foles and kept Foles around just, I guess, to beat Seattle this year and put the scare in Bears fans one last time as they almost won their last 3. But the writing was on the wall the minute they drafted Fields, and it was obvious that Fields was either A, not ready, and B, they didn't have the horses around in order to evaluate him properly or protect him. And as a matter of fact, he couldn't finish the season healthy, and there were so many other issues about when to start Fields and when not. And now they're both out. No playoff wins. 0. Couple playoff seasons, though. The double doink, we all know, really hurt. And that was Nagy's Coach of the Year. But now the Bears are back to square one, and so are the Vikings.
Yeah, we could see that coming.
They went and got, I don't know about Rick Spielman, too, has been with the organization since 2006. He's out, and Zimmer's out. And now the new GM and new coach will have Kirk Cousins earning $35 million guaranteed in his final year of his contract in year 1. Who's going to take that gig?
It's a good gig. A lot of talent on that team.
There is. But you need a quarterback there. In Chicago, you're going to have to use the one that you got. In Denver, you're going to need a new quarterback, too.
Yep.
The general manager's not going anywhere in Denver, and it's a whole new kit and caboodle in the half of the NFC North. Congratulations, Dan Campbell's now the second most tenured coach in the NFC North.
After what, 8 months on the job?
Hey man, and the Lions just kept on going. They only knew one thing, which was to take hunks and kneecaps out of the opponents all the way to the end.
But we said it.
Yeah, we said
after week 1, they were going to play hard and compete every week.
And it was fun to watch.
They were super entertaining.
Except they got blown out by the Eagles, and then there was another blowout to the Seahawks, and other than that, not much.
Did you see all the Tom trickery they were pulling yesterday with the flea flickers and the flicker fleas and all that?
Kind of the opposite of the Giants.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.